Do you like video games? Who doesn't? Have you ever wondered how video games are made? Or even wondered whether you could make your own game? Hi, my name is Andrew Tomec. I'm an elementary school teacher, and I've been working with technology practically since the first home computers hit stores back in the 1980s.
Shall we play a game?
Since then, computers have taken over practically every industry and will be even more important in the future. You may not know it yet, but no matter what you choose to do with your life in the future, you're going to end up working with technology. To be really successful, you're going to have to learn how to code, how to talk to computers in their own language to make them do all the amazing things you imagine they can do. Up until recently, communicating with computers was something only adults could do. Coding, we all thought, was just too complicated for kids. The good news is that in the past few years, computer scientists have come up with some amazing new ways to teach kids to code. Ways that don't involve a lot of typing, and where little mistakes don't make everything crash. My favorite tool right now is called Scratch. It's a complete coding system that was built from the ground up to be easy for kids to use. You can use it to make amazing video games, digital stories, and other projects. This is Scratch. He's the mascot and also the star of thousands of video games made by kids just like you. Building programs with Scratch is a lot like building things out of Lego. Just snap the blocks together and connect them to make characters on the screen do what you want. There's almost no typing involved, meaning even kids who struggle with language can jump right in and start doing cool stuff right away. Today I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to get started in Scratch by building a fun little video game called Cat and Mouse. Your character is a cat who runs across the screen chasing after mice, trying to eat as many as you can before the timer runs out. As a junior video game designer, you're probably excited to jump right in and make your own games. But after teaching coding to thousands of kids, I've learned that the best way to start your career in video games is to build your first game along with a teacher who can show you how things work and what kinds of problems you might run into. I'm going to ask you to pay attention and follow my instructions exactly while I teach the lesson. Along the way, I'm going to show you all kinds of ways to customize your game and make it your own. But if you're going to get the most out of this experience, we all have to be making more or less the same game. Along the way, you'll learn how to create and customize your own character, how to control it using your mouse or keyboard, how to make your game interactive so your cat character can interact with the mice. You'll learn how to keep score, how to spice up your story with sound effects, and how to design and code your own game over screen. By the end of our time together, you'll know enough that you can remix this game into a brand new game of your own that you can share with millions of fellow Scratchers all over the world. And you'll be well on your way to becoming a real live game dev. I can't wait to see what you're going to make. Let's get started. So this is the main Scratch web page. Mine looks a little different from yours because I have a teacher account set up, but mostly this will look familiar to anyone who's been on Scratch before. I'm logged in, so you can see my name up here in the top bar. If you're not logged in, you'll still be able to edit Scratch projects, but you won't be able to save your work. So let's get into the Scratch editor now by clicking on the Create button. The first thing I'm going to do now is give my project a name. I'm going to name this project Cat and Mouse, and be sure to add your name as well. So I'm going to add Mr. T to the end of this file name, and make sure you do the same thing with your own name. We're going to start coding in a little bit, but first let's get our characters all ready to go by loading them up and making a few changes to the color scheme. Over here on the right-hand side of the screen is the window where our game is actually going to be running. The gameplay area measures just 480 pixels wide by 360 pixels deep, which is not huge by modern video game standards. One of the ways we're going to cheat and get a little bit more room is by shrinking our character down a little. In Scratch, the characters and props that you move around the screen are called sprites. Sprites live down here at the bottom of the screen in an area called the Sprites pane. And right above them is a little information panel that lets you change some of the details about your sprite, like the size, position, and visibility. Over here next to size, I'm going to change the size number from 100 down to 60, which will make our cat 60% of its current size. And that'll give him a little more real estate to run around the screen. While we're modifying our cat, let's rename it so its name is Cat instead of Sprite1. That way, later on when we're coding, there won't be any confusion about which sprite we're ordering around in our program. By default, Scratch the Cat is always the first sprite you see when you open up a project, but there are literally hundreds of pre-made characters you can use in your project. To load a new sprite, hover your mouse over this blue cat-shaped button near the bottom of your screen, which is labeled Choose a Sprite. The button expands to offer you a few choices. Choose a sprite from the Scratch library, paint your own sprite, pick a random sprite, or load a sprite that you've already grabbed from the internet. Click on the first option, the magnifying glass, to load a sprite from the Scratch library. As you can see, there's a vast assortment of different characters and props to play with. Notice that when I move my mouse cursor over any of these characters, the box comes to life to preview the built-in animations or costumes that are available for each sprite. In a minute, you're going to be picking at least one sprite to add to your project, but I want you to pay attention to the costumes available for your sprite. I like to use this mouse character because these little guys have a really nice running animation with their feet scurrying and their tails wiggling. Feel free to use a different character in your game, but before you pick, check out which costumes are available. This octopus character looks like fun, but it has a bunch of strange costumes. There's a pirate costume and even one where he's playing the maracas. So this guy is going to look a little bit strange if you try to have him run across the screen the way the mice do. So let's go looking for our mouse sprite. The images on this screen are in alphabetical order, so I can scroll all the way down to the letter M if I want. But I want to show you some quicker ways to find what you're looking for. These blue buttons across the top of the screen filter your list. So if I click on the word animals, now I'm just seeing the sprites that are animals. If I'm looking for a specific sprite, like I am right now, I can also go up to the search window at the top of the screen and start typing M-O, and there's my mouse. Once you've found your sprite, just click on it to load it into your sprites panel. If you loaded the wrong sprite by accident, you can delete it by clicking on the little trash can that hovers at the top right of your sprite when you click it. If you accidentally delete a sprite, you can usually bring it back by going to the Edit menu at the top of the screen and clicking Restore Sprite. Okay, so my mouse is loaded into my game, but he's way too big for my poor kitty. It looks like he's going to eat the cat instead of the other way around. You can resize your mouse to whatever looks good to you, but I'm going to make mine size 40. So our goal here is to have 2 sprites on your screen that we can start to program, but there's one more optional step I want to show you if you want to customize the look of your sprites. Scratch has a really helpful paint utility that lets you modify existing sprites or create brand new ones. Let's start with the cat. Click on him in the Sprites panel to make sure he's selected. And now let's launch the Paint utility up here in the tabs at the top left of the screen. Right now we're in the coding area where we can see all the materials we need for coding. But if I click on the second tab over, which is marked Costumes, now I'm in a totally separate part of the program that's dedicated to drawing and art. To recolor an image in Scratch, you need this Paint Bucket tool, which is called the Fill tool.
Hover your mouse cursor over any other part of the cat's body with the paint bucket, and Scratch will preview what that color looks like in that spot. The color change won't be permanent until you click. You can switch to a new color by clicking on this little button marked Fill, which pulls up Scratch's color picker. Drag the top slider to change the color. You can tweak the colors a little more by changing their saturation, which controls how intense your color is. And the last option is brightness, which will make your image brighter or darker. If you want to reuse a color that's already on your screen, you can select it by clicking on part of your screen with this eyedropper tool. So I've picked a nice new dark green color scheme for my cat. It looks like I'm done, but remember that the cat actually has 2 costumes that need repainting. If you only color one costume, your sprite will flicker as he flips back and forth between these 2 very different looks. While we're literally setting the stage for our game, let's also add a backdrop. Over on the far right hand side of your screen is this column that says Stage. If I hold down this blue button, I get the same options I had over on my Load a Sprite menu. Select the magnifying glass to load Scratch's backdrops library. Again, we've got a big selection of backdrops to choose from. You can pick whatever you like, but I'm looking for something nice and simple that won't distract from the game or make it too hard to see the mice. I've selected this one called Light. And now I'm going to recolor it a little to match the green color scheme I've set up in my game. There's one more important thing I want to mention while we're talking about recoloring sprites. Most of the sprites you'll find in Scratch are illustrations that have been designed by an artist. In coding, we call these vector images. But a few of our sprites and backgrounds, like this puppy, are actually photographs. In coding, we call these bitmaps. Bitmaps work differently from vectors in some important ways. For example, you can't use a paint bucket to change their color.
So I'm pretty happy with my color scheme now, and if you are too, I think we're ready to start coding. We've reached the end of Chapter 1. At the end of every chapter, I'm going to show you a checklist of everything you need to have done to be caught up with this tutorial. If you're learning this material in a classroom, make sure you finished off the entire checklist before you try doing anything else. We want you to be curious and explore Scratch, but only if you're fully caught up with your cat and mouse project.